Hello and welcome back to another Next Generation Sidequest. Our Sidequest videos are videos where we take a look at topics outside of the regular Nintendo Power episodes we've been doing. The topics cover things related to the NES and other retro systems available at the time.
We found some of Dad's old comic books and noticed that they had some interesting game ads, so we're going to share those with you today. We've selected 6 different comic books which contained ads for a variety of different NES games, plus a few extras.
Some of the games in today's episode are past videos that we've already covered, but some of the games are ones that we haven't taken a look at yet, so if any of those look really interesting to you, let us know, and we'll consider it for a future video. Let's jump right in.
First up, we have an issue of the Fantastic Four, which is volume 15 from July of 1990.
So the first ad we've got is for Wrath of the Black Manta from Taito, which is a action platformer. Reminds me a little bit of Ninja Gaiden. Some of these ads are a bit faded. I did a little bit of cleanup, but I wanted to keep them fairly close to the original look.
Here we have an ad for the Uncanny X-Men, and then if you look in the corner you can see an ad for the Game Boy Spider-Man.
This ad invites us to hit the dirt with Super Off-Road from Tradewest.
This page features codename Viper from Capcom.
I thought this one stood out a little bit just because it almost in a bad way, just because it's fairly plain and doesn't really seem to tie in with the theme of fighting drug lords. It's just kind of a generic background, I thought.
Right.
And not a lot of graphics outside of the screenshots that seem to relate to the theme of the game. Our next comic is Transformers from December of 1990, issue number 73.
Here we have Capcom Street Fighter 2010, which is actually a sci-fi spin-off of the original games.
In the US version, they named the main character Ken, I think, to tie in with the Street Fighter fighting games, but I'm pretty sure this was probably just a rebranding thing to try to up the sales, because it seems like a fairly unrelated game. Here we have an ad for the Acclaim wireless remote control. I thought it was interesting that they call them remotes, kind of playing off like the TV remote thing. And then there's a second ad as well that so one of them was like a comic, and then the other one featured kind of a head-to-head concept that you can play remotely against your friend, kind of giving you a little more space versus a wired controller.
And that's interesting because like most controllers are wireless nowadays, so it's interesting to see what the kind of first wireless controllers looked like.
The official wireless remote controller, licensed by Nintendo, created by Acclaim. Get the Acclaim remote, the power to move.
Here we have The Adventures of Superman, and this is volume 463 from February of 1990.
This issue features an ad for Willow from Capcom, which is an RPG that we've featured on a previous episode of Next Generation.
Here we have an ad for Uncle Wally's Power Patch Place, which features a bunch of Nintendo-themed patches.
Which of these do you think you would get, Laurel?
I would probably get the original Nintendo logo, but the 11 Legend of Zelda one is also pretty cool.
That's something in these comic books that was pretty common back in the day was kind of mail order, all kinds of various things that you could send away for. I thought that was a pretty cool ad. And here we have the sensational She-Hulk, issue number 12 from 1990.
Next up, we have Konami's Castlevania 2, and it's funny how the ad actually mentions how hard the game is.
The tagline at the top, a nice place to visit, but you wouldn't want to die there, definitely alludes to that. And I thought this one was notable also because of the kind of unique graphic style they're using with graphics overlaid over the screenshots. Here we have an ad for Operation Wolf, which was a previous Sidequest video that we did, talking about how it was a light gun game and trying our hand at playing it with the NES Zapper.
This ad features Taito's Sky Shark, a fast-paced vertical shooter.
Here we have yet another Capcom ad. They seem to be putting out quite a few in 1990. This is for Bionic Commando, which is also another game we've taken a look at in a previous episode.
With yet another ad, Capcom is back with their Mega Man 2 and Strider, and it's interesting how they decided to group these two games into one ad.
And the back cover of this issue featured an ad for WCW Wrestling for the NES.
And here we have an Indiana Jones comic, the 3rd edition from 1989.
This next ad I thought was interesting for a few reasons. First is it's for Sears, which is a large department store company that for a long time was known for the Sears catalog, where you could do mail order stuff. And in recent years, they've been going through a lot of financial issues and closing stores and whatnot. I thought this ad was interesting because it features the prices of games, which, so Laurel, you've bought a few games.
Right. I think I got Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart on the Switch.
And so those games are $60 today, whereas a lot of these are, $29, $34, that kind of price range, which there is inflation over time, but then also it's interesting that the console price is $99. Whereas and at this point in the NES life cycle, I think it was 3 to 5 years old. I'd have to look, probably 5. And we still today see a lot of the consoles when they get to, especially the Nintendo consoles, when they get to the end of their life cycle, they start selling them for that same kind of $99 price. Konami has created an ad for 3 of their sports games, Blades of Steel, Double Dribble, and Track and Field 2, all combined into one ad. And our final comic for this video is a issue of G.I. Joe from 1983, which features Snake Eyes on the cover. It's issue number 21. This issue actually predates the NES, but had some Atari and other game ads, and I thought it would be cool to include.
Now we have an ad for Frogger, and this ad is interesting because it's for multiple systems instead of one, which is interesting because all the other games that we looked at today were just for the NES.
I thought this was interesting also because it kind of points to the previous era to the NES where there was a lot of competition between some various systems, whereas the NES, once it came out, was fairly dominant. And the final ad we're showing is for He-Man, which is supported on the Atari 2600 and the Intellivision. Thanks for joining us on another Next Generation Sidequest.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe.
And we'll see you next time.